They did a really good job with these bikes. And they're just so fun and fast. Hey everybody, I'm Ethan, and today I'm very excited to be reviewing the entire lineup of Zooz electric bikes. They have 3 models to choose from, ranging from just shy of $2,000 up to just shy of $3,000, and based on looks and style alone, these bikes may seem like they're only meant for young riders who want to ride around like hooligans. But after riding them around collectively for hundreds of miles, I think they have a lot more to offer. So are the Zooz bikes just for the BMX crowd, or would they be a great fit for anyone who likes the looks? We're gonna find out next on Now Let's Review. We have here the full Zooz bikes lineup. We have the Urban Ultralight 250, the Urban Ultralight 750, and the Urban Ultralight 1100. These bikes are ones that I have been dying to get my hands on, and we've had them for a little bit now. We've taken a long time to come out with this review video because, first of all, we've just been riding them so much, but I've been so excited to review these. So here we go. We're gonna review all of them in this video because there's actually not a whole lot different about each of these bikes except for a few components. So as you can see, each of these bikes share the same frame. These are all chromoly steel frames and they look great. We'll start with the Urban Ultralight 250, and you can see actually the only difference between this bike and either of the other two is obviously the motor size, but also the handlebar height. So this has the lower rise handlebars. This has the full high rise BMX bars. So the normal bars are several inches taller than the low bars on the 250. What a nice bike, honestly. All these Zooz bikes are. This one is the only of the 3 that has the low rise handlebars. The other ones, your hands are probably up about here, but with this one, they're nice and low down. Very comfortable riding position. It's just a super comfy bike. The only thing I will say that could make this bike more comfortable is I wish the seat had a little bit more padding, and that's the case for all 3 bikes. But the shape and length of the seat is really nice. You got so much room to move back and forth in the seat if you want. You can sit closer to the handlebars, you can sit further back. Gives you a lot you can do with how you want to ride this bike. This one has a 250 watt hub motor right here with a peak power of 500 watts. Has a top speed of 20 miles an hour and a claimed range of 25 to 40 miles. Battery on this one is a 16 amp hour, 630 watt hour lithium ion battery. The 250 has 160 millimeter rotors in the front and the back. I'm gonna test these amazing hydraulic brakes. These have 2-finger levers. So 25 miles an hour and full brakes. Yeah, they work really well. The tires on the 250 are Kenda Cranium 24 by 2.3 inch tires. These are a bit smaller than the 24 by 2.5 inch tires on the 750 and the 1100. The 750 and the 1100 have Maxxis hookworm tires. So let's test the acceleration. This is a 250 watt motor, so it's not gonna be super fast, but let's see how fast it can get to 20. Full throttle. And then it tops out at 20. All right, not too bad. It doesn't feel so underpowered that it's like, well, what's the point? It's underpowered for me because I like bigger motors, but I mean, overall it's great. All right, let's do the hill test. Again, 250 watt motor. We'll see how it does. So I'm not gonna pedal at all. I'm gonna let the motor do the work. Full throttle. 13 miles an hour, 14. Wow, it's cruising along at 15. I'm impressed. I am impressed. All right, so the pedal assist takes about a full rotation of the crank before it kicks in. Not the most immediate by any means, but it disengages very quickly, which is more important. Same with all the other bikes, 5 levels of pedal assist. Mode 3 is good for cruising around, but again, because it's cadence sensing, the mode of pedal assist you're in is just what top speed it's gonna limit the bike to. So in mode 5, bringing me all the way up to 20 miles an hour, I have to pedal comically fast to actually give any input. So at that point, you might as well just use the throttle. All right, so let's talk about the throttle response. If I give it full throttle from a stop, it very quickly kicks in, but the motor's just so low on power that it takes a while to actually really start moving, but the response is very quick. However, once you're moving, once you're going at speed, like let's say right now, for example, I'm gonna go like 12 miles an hour, full throttle. It takes almost a full second for it to kick in, once you're moving. I don't know what that's all about. It's not the end of the world, it's just kind of annoying because it does have a much quicker throttle response at low speeds. So my overall thoughts on the Urban Ultralight 250 are that this is a great commuter bike. Like the other two have much more powerful motors, they have nicer tires, and the higher bars make them easier to like mess around with jump curbs on and stuff. This one is much more of a, just I'm gonna go for a ride that's probably much more chill than on the other two. Of the three, this is your, I'm just gonna commute around, ride around casually for fun. And for that, this is an amazing bike. Moving on to the 750, the only differences between this and the 250 are the high-rise bars versus the lower-rise bars. This also has a bigger battery and a bigger motor, and a bigger rotor in the front. And as I mentioned, the tires. So there are actually a couple differences, but I mean, essentially, they are very similar. They share the same platforms. So the bars on this bike are the typical BMX high-rise. This is the same as it is on the 1100. And this may be one of the most, if not the most comfortable rider position on any electric bike I've tested. I'm sitting perfectly upright. And again, these seats are so long that you can shift where you want to be sitting. So like if I want to sit up closer, I can sit up closer, I can move all the way back. You can't adjust the height with these bars, but you can adjust the tilt forward and backward. I like them to be pretty much straight up with a little bit of a forward lean. So the 750 has a 600 watt motor with a peak output of 1200 watts. That offers it a top speed of 26 miles an hour when unlocked. This bike is unlocked. It ships standard as, shows right here on the sticker. This is a class 2 bike, so it ships limited to 20 miles an hour, but you can unlock it to get 26 miles an hour, and that is definitely worth doing. All right, so let's test the acceleration of the 750. Again, not gonna pedal, just gonna see how long it takes to get to 20, full throttle, go. Has a lot more pickup than the 250. And there's 20. All right, let's see what we can get for a top speed. 25 to 26 miles an hour. So that is a good, solid speed for a bike like this. And it feels really stable at this speed. It doesn't feel unstable at all. I have complete control of this bike. The battery on this one is a 16 amp hour, 840 watt hour lithium ion battery. Gives this one a claimed range also of 25 to 40 miles. I did get more out of this bike than out of the 250 though, and I will talk about that more in a little bit. And the 750 has a 180 millimeter rotor in the front and 160 millimeter in the rear compared to the 160 front and rear of the 250. Let's see how they do. 24, 22. Really, really powerful brakes. Really strong brakes on these bikes. And again, the feel is just amazing. Back to the hill. Let's see how the 750 does with the hill test. So again, not gonna pedal, full throttle, just see how it does. Accelerating, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, holding steady. That's incredible. 21 miles an hour up the hill, that is genuinely impressive. This is a very torquey 750 watt motor. So the 750 is the one that Zooz labels as the trick riding, like the classic Zooz experience. They say this is the best one for stunt riding. Now, I am no stunt rider by any means, but I can say that I feel a lot more confident jumping this one off of curbs than I do the 250. The high BMX bars, the bigger tires, the peppier motor, all make a big difference when it comes to, you know, your kind of more aggressive riding. Undoubtedly, my biggest complaint about the 750 is the throttle response. It is, in all honesty, kind of atrocious. If you're just, you know, moseying along and you hit the throttle, there's a big throttle delay. It's just, like, it's hard to demonstrate, but throttle, now it picks up. Other than the throttle response, I don't think I have any complaints about this bike. The bike just feels so solid. Again, jumping off of curbs and everything, like, it doesn't make any rattling noises or anything. It's really well buttoned down. I love it. I love these bikes. Can I do a stoppie? Little one, little baby stoppie. Damn it. So now if you're looking at this bike and you're like, oh wow, I really love how it looks, which of course you would because these look amazing, but you're like, I love how it looks, but I don't know if I want a BMX bike because I kind of want something I can actually just ride around all day on. You can with this, no questions at all, you can do that. It's so good at doing everything. This is a really good all-around bike. And moving on to the 1100, there are even fewer differences between this bike and the 750 than there were between the 750 and the 250. This also has the high-rise bars, so the typical BMX style. The differences on this bike are again going to be the battery, the motor, and the brakes. This one has the big boy motor. This is a 750 watt motor with 1600 watts of peak power, offers a unlocked top speed of 33 miles an hour. So this is actually one of the fastest bikes that we have tested so far. All right, out on the 1100 now, and this one is my personal favorite, mostly just because it has the biggest and most powerful motor. Even bigger than the difference in motor power itself is the difference in volume. This motor is completely silent. Like completely silent. I can't hear any noise that this motor is making. And usually with e-bike motors, even the quiet ones, it still makes a little bit of noise. This one is unbelievably quiet. Once again, let's test the acceleration. I'm gonna go full throttle and we'll see how it compares to the other ones. Okay, less torque right off the bat than the 750. There's 20. So yeah, this one has not as much pull off the line. Once it's moving, it's pretty similar, but at that first pull, that first like couple seconds, oh, the 750 would easily beat this off the line. Not even a question. This huge battery here is a 19 amp hour, 1092 watt hour lithium ion battery. Gives it again a claimed range of 25 to 40 miles. This one, not surprisingly, did give me the longest range of all three of the bikes, but I will talk about them more in a little bit. Not surprisingly, the 1100 also has the biggest brakes. This is a 203 millimeter rotor in the front and a 180 millimeter rotor in the back. So this one has the most stopping power, which is definitely needed because this is also the heaviest. All of these bikes, though, regardless of the rotor size, have exceptional stopping power with these hydraulic brakes. They are just Zooz brand, and Zooz did a very good job developing these brakes. All right, 24 and full brakes. Yep, they work. They work very well. Once again, no pedaling from me, full throttle up the hill. Let's see how it does. 20, 21. It did really, really well going up the hill. Let's see how it does for top speed. So full throttle. This one I have also unlocked. It is no longer class 2, even though that's what the sticker says. This one goes pretty fast. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So yeah, again, I would say 31 is a pretty good speed for an electric bike. It's not unreasonably fast though. It really does feel super controlled. It's a speed that I enjoy traveling on this bike, and it doesn't make me feel sketched out or anything. Again, same rider position as the 750. It's the same exact frame. They just put a different motor in it and a different battery. Bikes handle beautifully, super well balanced, easy to control. So the throttle response on the 1100 is the best of all three of the bikes. Instant, which makes goofing off on this bike way easier than on either of the other two, because I can just, as soon as I hit the throttle, I'm getting that motor response. And then also preparing for that jumping off the curb is a lot easier on this because I get that immediate throttle response. So front tire up, drop both tires off the curb at the same time. Way easier to do on this than it is on the 750. So yeah, here's a gravel road. Tires grip really well. This bike can handle it, plenty of traction. This bike is so good for goofing off with, like jumping curbs, but then also, if you just sit down and pedal them, these are just such good bikes to cruise around on. I really thought, looking at these bikes before we got them, that these were gonna be fun to mess around with, fun to goof off on, but not something I'd wanna ride every day, or if I was going out for a bike ride, because I was like, oh, you know, they're gonna be whatever, they're gonna be like fun to mess around with. But I was so wrong, because these bikes are, first of all, more fun to mess around with than I thought they would be. But these are also some of the best bikes we have to just ride around on and to just go for a casual bike ride with. I mean, thankfully we have 3 of them, but when the Now You Know team goes out for a bike ride, it is essentially a guarantee that at least one of the Zooz bikes is going out on the ride, because we all love these things. They're so good. This bike is so good. They all are, but this one in particular, the 1100, this is my favorite. This is everyone's favorite. It has 155 miles on it right now. We haven't had them that long. The only other real difference between each of the bikes is the weight, and of course that's, you know, due to motor and battery size. The 250 weighs 44 pounds, so it's actually quite a light bike considering the size of the battery and the motor and everything. The 750 is a little beefier at 55.7 pounds. Still doable, you can still lift it, but lifting it up kind of over your head to get it onto a bike rack, you might need a little help doing that. And the 1100 is not surprisingly the heaviest, tipping the scales at 62.2 pounds, and this one definitely is the hardest one to lift up. You will probably need some help if you're trying to pick this up onto a bike rack or load it into a pickup truck or something like that. Okay, taking a look at the display, it is hard to see in bright sunlight, but we have your speed here, your pedal assist level, so if I go up and down, you can see that that changes. You can cycle between odometer, max speed, your average speed, and yeah, trip. Okay, so it's got a couple options. Battery level up here. Nice little display. I like it a lot. It's easier for me to see in real life than it is on the camera, so this isn't a great representation, but gives you an idea of at least what the screen looks like. And again, these bikes are pretty simple. You know, they're BMX bikes. There's not a whole lot to them. I covered most of the specs, but I'll put up a screenshot of the full specs side by side so you can compare each of them and see the differences on screen for yourself. Having ridden the Zooz bikes for hundreds of miles now, I can say that they are all exceptional bikes. They're extremely well made, very high quality. Again, they look fantastic, and the riding experience is really impressive. Now, when I tested the range for all 3 of the Zooz bikes, I used almost exclusively the throttle and almost always full throttle because I wanted to see what the worst case scenario for range was going to be. With the 250, I managed to get 22.7 miles out of it before it almost died. I had a little bit left, so I probably could have squeezed a bit more out of it, but it was very close to dead. With the 750, I managed to get 24.1 miles, and again, almost dead and almost all full throttle going up and down hills. With the 1100, I got 30 miles with a little bit of battery remaining. Again, almost all full throttle, almost no pedaling, going up and down lots of hills. So these ranges are impressive to me considering they are just the throttle. If I did decide to pedal and put in some of the work, I definitely could have got a lot more range out of these bikes, probably closer to the maximum end of the claimed range. 45 miles for each of these I think would be achievable if you were doing a decent amount of the work using a lower level of pedal assist. If you're looking at the Zooz bikes and you're thinking, I need that bike, I love the style, everything about it seems great, I would recommend you buy it. You are going to love these bikes. I love them so much, and even when I'm not filming, I love just taking them out for a spin because they're super enjoyable to ride. Now, if you really like the style and looks of these bikes as well as the specs, and you would love to have one but you're worried about the style being bad on your back, I would still advise that you consider buying these bikes. They're very comfortable, the upright handlebars allow for an extremely upright riding position, and overall, these are the kind of bikes you can ride all day without being sore at the end of the day. Another great thing about Zooz is that they are US based. It has been so easy to communicate and work with them. Chris, I want to give you a personal shout out. You're the man. Thank you for hooking us up with these bikes and for talking to us. Zach and Jesse did an interview with Chris on disruptive investing. We'll put the link right up there if you want to check that out and see kind of more of the behind the scenes origin story of Zooz as a company. All in all, I think the Zooz bikes are actually some of the most versatile bikes on the market right now. And I think Zooz has absolutely nailed it. Now, if you're going to be riding around on these bikes like a hooligan, or if you're just going to be riding around casually, I recommend wearing a helmet, especially one from our friends at Lumos. You guys know the deal. Lumos is amazing. This is the Matrix. It has the screen on the back, built-in directional, has MIPS in here, which is this added safety measure, allows your head to rotate within the helmet, helps to reduce concussions and head injuries even more than just wearing a helmet. So if you want to get one of these for yourself, head on over to lumoshelmet.co and use code NOWYOUKNOW-LUMOS to get a discount. All right, well, that about wraps it up for this review. I hope you guys found it enjoyable. If you did, please leave this video a like. It really helps the channel out, helps YouTube to share our videos. I want to give another thanks to Chris and the whole Zooz team for hooking us up. It's been great to work with you. We love the bikes. If you want to buy a Zooz bike for yourself, head on over to the link down below and use our code, which is in the description, to get a discount. We've got plenty of videos in the works. Lots of exciting things are coming up, so we will see you next time. Now let's review.